How's it going? I'm Jared Gillis. Welcome to another All About RVs. Today, I wanted to talk to you about an RV tip that has really made our RV trips that much more enjoyable and the RV trip just overall more fun and less exhausting. And I'd love to hear from you guys if you want to leave a comment down below if you have a tip or a version of this rule that you can leave down below that might help other people. That would be fantastic. So this is the rule of three. It's the 3-3-3 rule or the 3-300 rule, or there's 3 points to this rule, or there's a 3 somewhere into the idea of this concept. It would have been really good if I only had 3 points for this video, but we're gonna have a little bit more. So the 3-3-3 rule is you arrive at your destination by 3, and we'll get into why for all these. Drive no more than 300 miles and stay for 3 nights. So let's break down these first 3 that we're looking at. So arriving by 3 o'clock, it allows a buffer inside of your day. So if you have to solve a problem or you do have a problem come up, it gives you that buffer in the day so you can still show up in the daylight. When you can show up at a location in the daylight, it's going to be easier to set up. If you're going to an RV park, it's a kind of an ideal time to be able to check into that RV park. If you're going boondocking, it's going to be easier to find that spot in the day and give you a little bit more time if you need to have a different location that you need to go to in case that boondocking spot is filled up. And being able to set up in the light is going to be much easier than trying to set up in the dark. And even just pulling into your site, it's always easier to pull into your site when there's daylight rather than trying to do it in the dark and there might be an obstacle that you don't see. It's just much easier to do these things in the light of day. Now, if we have to break one of these other rules that we're going to talk about, usually this is one that we try and hold fast to. So if we need to leave earlier in the day so we can arrive at that time, we'll make that adjustment. If we have to drive longer, wake up earlier, and just still get there before 3. It's definitely our preference. Now, the next one in our 3-300 rule is to not drive more than 300 miles in a day. And the reason why that's a nice round number to look at is if you're going to be going 65 miles an hour with an RV, you're going to be looking around 4.5 to 5 hours to be that 300 or just under that 300 mile mark. Now, this is probably the easiest one in this list to be able to break because you're going large distances often with an RV. But if you can keep it under that 300 mile mark, you're going to be a little bit more refreshed when you get to your location. If you're looking at a 4.5 to 5 hour drive, it's still a healthy drive, but you're not looking at 8-9 hours to where when you get there, you're going to be exhausted and it's going to be harder to enjoy that area. So if you can keep it closer to that time frame and that lesser mileage, you're going to be able to enjoy that area quicker because you're going to be less fatigued and ready to enjoy that area. But as a bonus thought to this rule, because we have a fifth wheel, we have to hook up the fifth wheel to the truck. If we can fill up the truck with fuel before we go, that's usually within our fuel mileage range that we can do with the truck while towing the fifth wheel. So it's just easier to fill up the truck, not with the fifth wheel. Now, the third part of the 3-3-3 rule is to stay 3 nights. And the reason why that is an advantage is because you get to enjoy that area a little bit more and it doesn't feel like you're moving all the time. So when you take your RV and you set up and tear down one night and then you move the next night and you're just doing one night stops at everywhere you go, it can get a little bit exhausting and repetitive. So if you're not spending so much time with the setup and tear down, you can enjoy that area and enjoy the RV a little bit more where it's at. That can be nice as you're doing a loop wherever you're RVing, which adds to the enjoyment of RVing. Now, there is a variation with another 3 in here, and it's not to drive more than 3 hours. So it kind of replaces that 300 miles because it's going to be based more on how many hours you're driving. But the reason why that is good is because sometimes when you drive 3 hours, you're out of an area that is completely different now. And if you drive farther than those 3 hours, you're going to miss something in that area. So sometimes keeping it to the 3-hour max of how far you're going to drive will help you fully enjoy that state or that region that you're traveling in. So like I said in the beginning, these are more guidelines, not hard, fast rules that you need to follow, but sometimes following these guidelines can help you enjoy it just that much more. Sometimes they're not practical, but sometimes they're great to be able to frame up how you want to plan your RV trip. So I hope these tips help you out and help you enjoy your RVing experience more. Check out the comments down below. See if there's any other tips that were added to this video to see if there's something that might work well for you and your travel style. And since this was all based off the number 3, if you could do 3 things, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, if you want to see more videos about RVing, and you can comment down below. And since we're not really sticking to the 3, because I've messed that up all the way through this video, hit that alert button, because I've never asked you to do that. So I think that's going to do it for today. This is usually where I say like, subscribe, thumbs up. But I messed it up because I did it earlier. I don't know what I'm doing. I guess. Anyways, thanks for watching. If we don't see you on the road, hopefully we will see you next video.